We're making a video today. I'm not even sure what it's really about. We're just going to talk and see where it goes.
Hey, we're literally reviewing and recapping our top whiskey of the year. We just talked about it 5 minutes beforehand.
I know, but I don't even know if we have a really good name for the video. I just thought, you know.
Let's just start. Let's just go.
All right. We're reviewing some stuff. It'll be fun. Welcome back to another edition of Bourbon Kingdom. I'm David.
And I'm Zach.
And today we are talking about old bourbon.
No, we are recapping our whiskey of the year.
We are recapping whiskey of the year and what was left off the list.
I'm drinking after this.
Yeah, well, pour me some of that too.
You need it. Yeah, so basically, we always like to do a recap of our... Man, if this thing doesn't break, good Lord.
I think there's more whiskey in the cork than there is in the bottle.
Oh, man.
Oh, man.
I feel like I don't know if I should give you a whole lot or not a lot.
I mean, just heavy pour me. It'd be perfect.
Yeah, you need it after this.
I do need it.
So really quick, we are going to recap this year's kind of our top 20 of the year, talk about some good, some bad, why we came up with this format and stuff like what we do, and just kind of go from there. So before we start, just to remind everybody, please hit the like, subscribe, notifications. Check us out on Patreon. Would love to have you guys over there as well.
Yep.
And yeah, put down in the comments below what are some of your biggest surprises from our list. I'll also put in the description our 2 videos that we did.
Now, I'll tell you what, when you drink this with not drinking it with anything else, this is the bourbon of the year.
We're not going there yet.
It's the bourbon of the year.
It's one of the best.
If you don't drink this with anything else, this is the bourbon of the year.
Anyways, we'll talk about that here in a minute. So anyways, I'll put the 2 videos in the description below. Please put in the comments below what was some of your favorite bourbons, or whiskeys, ryes, scotches, tequilas of the year. I love no tequilas because I do love me some tequila. And
I feel like
this is still incredible.
I feel like we shouldn't have to say this by now. And I do love in the comments. We had a couple people in the comments go, "You said bourbon of the year. Then there's ryes on the list. Your first one's a rye." I love Bourbon King Nation because you all just come to you all come to the defense and you just go, "We know what A's talking about." Thank you, so that we don't really have to say it. You all know, like, bourbon is just our general term for everything.
Maybe we were wrong. Maybe Old Fitz 13 was whiskey. Was whiskey.
Dude, I'm telling you.
Anyways, going back, though, a couple things just to refresh everybody on the rules. Whenever it comes to us doing whiskey of the year, we have to, have the bottle.
Yep.
And we have to be able to review it.
Yes.
So if we didn't do a review of something, it didn't get in. If we didn't have the actual bottle of it. So prime examples were Jack Daniel's 10, Jack Daniel's 12 year. Both are great bottles. Probably our 12 years probably in our top 20 for sure.
Yeah.
But we didn't actually physically get one.
Yeah.
So we only had the sample bottles of it, so they don't count.
Yes.
Also,
like I got GTS this year, like early this year, but it was last year's GTS. It wasn't this year's GTS, and so stuff like that doesn't count. Like we're not putting it in because I know somebody was like, "You didn't put GTS in." I was like, "Well, I mean, it was last year's GTS. Like, why would I put that in?"
Exactly, and that was the other thing too. We tried a bunch of stuff that we didn't get. Like for example, I've had all the B-Techs this year. This year's GTS is really good.
Yeah,
I imagine it would have been top 10. With that being said, I didn't get one.
Yeah.
So if we didn't get one, that's why
I had the WLW and it was really good too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then so like we try to do like this year's stuff. Have we at times gotten something that was like last year's release and we reviewed it
late in the year,
or whatever it is?
Like we just did our probably our newest review is a bourbon that came out at the end of last year, but we didn't get to review it till now. So,
but like stuff I think about is like Mr. Sam.
Yeah,
we had one of the. Well, Mr. Sam is a good example. Was that last year or this year that we reviewed that? That was last year, wasn't it?
Last year, yeah.
So, but like Mr. Sam, that was like a year or two before then, and then like the Bowman Cast Strength we did, that wasn't. I think batch 2 was already out, but we had just gotten batch 1.
Yeah.
So whenever we get stuff like that, when we review it, of course, we do not review single barrels. So those aren't going to make the list as much as we've gotten some really good ones. Like, and I'm saying like store picks, not like, I mean, obviously this is going to make the list, but you know, and it's a single barrel. But if they're a store pick, we just don't do those.
Right.
So,
yeah.
I think that's pretty much all the rules, right?
That's the rules.
Okay. So basically what we did, we picked through all the bottles that we enjoyed that we reviewed, good to great.
Yeah.
We put them all basically on the table and we decided, we're like, all right, we just got to pick top 20.
Yep.
So we picked our top 20. It went really well, except we left one bottle off and I was frustrated. Actually, he tried leaving 2 bottles off that shouldn't have been left off. But because he was more concerned about what I was not going to pick, so he put that on there instead of just picking his favorites. I picked my favorites.
Yeah.
You want to show that bottle?
I'm sacrificial.
Here's the ridiculous part. I think this is actually this should have been in our top 20.
It should have been in the top
20. But you left me a choice of Sagamore 9-year or this. And I picked the Sagamore 9-year.
It's because I sacrificially chose the Four Roses LE.
Well, that was going to get picked no matter what.
It was.
But
it still hung out there a little while.
But you looked at it because you thought I was going to pick the Maker's Mark Cellar's Age.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, it was the Cellar's Age.
So you didn't worry about picking that the entire time.
Yeah.
And then you picked that thinking, oh, well, he'll pick this.
Yeah, I figured you would.
Instead, he should have picked this instead of the Cellar's Age.
That's probably true.
So anyways.
Even though what's crazy is I like the Cellar's Age a lot. In a lot of ways, but there were still so many things.
Well,
there were still so many things that were above that.
Oh, I agree, 1,000%.
Yeah,
and we left other good bottles off. I mean, the Penelope Estate, the Knob Creek 10-year rye, the Angel's Envy Bottle and Bond Cask Strength, Wild Turkey Triumphant, all the Green River stuff.
Yes.
The Bardstown Weeded.
Yes.
There's a whole bunch of other ones we're forgetting. Mm-hmm. With all that, I think we left a Stag off too.
We did. There is no Stag in the top 20.
So we left good things off of our top 20. But this was the one that I think
this is the glaring omission.
This is the one that I think if we could go back and redo in a way,
we put it in there.
And like here's what's funny. Afterwards, Dave knew I was like, we messed up. He's like, well, let's just take some of that. I'm like, no, this is what we got. No,
that's what we chose.
This is what we chose. Because it's a process trying to get to our top 20. And
it happens.
I'm still upset about it.
Yeah. So honorary mention. There you go. Honorary mention. And then on the other spectrum of it, we were looking, and we even, I think, said it in the video, there was one that probably should have been in the top 10 that we had outside the top 10 and probably could have maneuvered some things around. It is this Penelope American Light Whiskey 15-year. This is fantastic.
Yeah.
And we probably both should have fought harder for this to be in the top 10 than we did.
Well, here's the truth. Whenever we did our blind of our top 10, I hated leaving this off, but I was like, all right, that's fine. It's cool. I get it.
Yeah.
And then once we did the blind, there was 2 of them that did not do well, at least for me.
Yeah. One of them did well for me, but
the other one's
in my jam.
But here's the thing. I like that one a lot too.
Yeah.
And the 2 that didn't do well in my book was this year's M10 and then the Heaven Hill 18-year Heritage Collection. And in the blind, I'm like, man, at the time, like, I felt like we should have just added this. But it's hard because whenever you go through and you do the blinds and you sit here, because like our top 3 that we left off, that was really close to being in the top 10. The Still Austin Tanager.
Yep.
And then what was the other one?
I'm looking at the list. Like in my head, I'm looking at the list. I can't remember exactly which one it is, but they were all close.
They were all really close, and I remember having different thoughts.
I think we should have fought for this one a little bit more, though.
Well, what we should have done is blind those three in a way kind of separate. Parker's malt.
Yes.
We enjoyed all three of those, but here's the thing. They're all three kind of off profile of a traditional bourbon. Yeah. So, yeah, it is what it is. It's one of those things that we were good with it going into our top 10, and then once we did our blind, we were like, maybe we made a mistake. So it's like you kind of don't know until you blind and you taste stuff, and then it's like, now you know.
So Ross and Squibb, sorry.
Probably should have been on there.
You should have been on there. This is fantastic. And honestly, they have a 17-year coming out this year.
I don't know. I can't wait for it.
Actually,
I'm really excited. I bet you it's going to be sneaky tough to get.
It's probably going to be sneaky tough to get. But it's on my list of things that I'm excited to get.
I agree. All right. Top 10 kind of went like fairly.
Yeah, I thought we were for the ones that were top 10. I thought everything kind of. The only surprise to me was the Evan Williams went a little lower for me than it went for you.
Yeah.
Because all year long I've been screaming that at the top of my lungs. Like that's. It's in the top 10, so it's unbelievable.
I mean, it finished fourth. Yeah. It ended up finishing fourth for us.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
Yeah, exactly.
But in the blind, it just kind of felt, not blind, in the just tasting through, it kind of felt a little bit shorter than some of the other things.
Which I'm surprised that it didn't blind better.
Yeah.
I am surprised. Because even we'll just talk about it really quick. Our biggest issue we had in our blind was our top three. Yes. Everything else, we traded some bottles here and there, but it was kind of easy to figure out. Mm-hmm. These were really the three difficult ones for us to place. Because we would do a blind.
And they finished with the same amount of points.
Every time. Every time we did a blind, they would just finish the same amount of points. And it's well, crap.
At some point, you just kind of got to go, all right, let's make this happen.
Yeah, let's eliminate one and let's pick whatever. And so, anyways, how we end up settling it, which I didn't mean to do this, but Old Fitz 13 was third, King Kentucky was 2, and then Russell's 15 won. Mm-hmm. I think on any given day, one of these three could have won, depending on palate, fatigue, and all of that kind of stuff.
Like I said, just sitting here drinking Old Fitz 13 by itself.
It's incredible.
It's stupid how good this is.
It's by far.
And if you have this bottle, you count yourself lucky that you have this bottle.
It is by far the best Old Fitz I've ever had in my life.
We've had a couple of people who've messaged us and been like, "Hey, listen, I know this VVS is supposedly. Is there any way you can come up off that?" And both of us are like, "No." This bottle, this liquid inside this bottle is not coming around ever again.
Yeah, unless they're tanking it now and just waiting another 20 years. Look, had there been Dusties that could compete with this, like an Old Fitz Dusty compared? Maybe.
Sure. President's Choice. Where's that?
But no, I'm talking the Old Fitz Dusties.
Oh, I was just saying Dusty.
Well, Nick had one. Nick had one up in, what are we calling that? Pours in the Barn?
Bourbon in the Barn.
Bourbon in the Barn.
Whiskey in the Woods this year.
Whiskey in the Creek, whatever.
Yeah.
He had one, and it's fantastic. But I think I like this one more. Honestly, it's just, at the end of the day, I think it's just the best Old Fitz they've ever done.
I think of all the ones I've tried, this is by far the best one I've ever
I would agree. King is King. As much criticism as what there's been around King this year, this is a great barrel.
Yeah.
This is the best one I've had, and it was just dumb luck that I got it.
Yeah.
At the end of the day. And then this Russell's 15. It is winning people's best whiskey of the year blinds left and right. Mm-hmm. It really is. It's won ours. It won Jason's from Mash and Drum. It won Fred Minnick's. Mm-hmm. I think it placed really high. I think it was third or fourth for the Junkies, maybe. Mm-hmm. So this
what won Junkies?
I think it was GTS. Then the Father's Day bottle we gave him. Got second.
I thought you were going to say the Evernorth.
No, that would be funny. No, but here's my point.
Our BK Secret Sauce was actually number one for us.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. But here's my point. I think this year we didn't review a GTS. We didn't review a WLW. Mm-hmm. We didn't review. I I mean, some crazy bottle like Weller Millennium or Michter's 20 or something like that. But
here's to 2025, us being able to potentially like get our hands on some of the BTAC. And I'm just saying in general.
Well, I just would have gambled better.
Yeah. Well, yes, us being able to find these things in a little bit better way will be nice. Because we don't have, I mean, truthfully, we don't have an inside track anywhere. Like if you,
for BTAC.
Yeah, for BTAC. No, like we have...
No, we have stores that take care of us, for sure.
Yeah, we have stores that take care of us, which we're very, very... Yeah. And take care of us, by that just means they allow us to buy it from them. Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's not like they're not giving it to us or anything like that. And that stuff is just harder to come by, and that is what it is. But for us, I think 2025 will come with us hopefully being able to kind of get those things and be able to review them so that they can be, so we can get an overall scope of all the things, like how this stuff compares to the BTAC in a real way, for everyone to see. We know how they do compare because we've tasted a lot of them. But just saying, as a channel, it would be cool to be able to do that in some ways. So, and
let me point out something too. We always talk about proof, and my buddy Tim, we have talked about this too, because he thought that proof would. He's like, I just don't see this being whiskey of the year with it being 100 proof, which is fair, right? Like, you would think something like King would dominate it, but considering this went third, second, first, low proof, highest proof, middle proof.
The crazy thing is, as well, like in our initial whatever, this was second for both of us.
I know. This was second for us.
We switched these two bottles. Mine, I was first, second, third. He was first, second, third.
Yeah, that's exactly how it went. And somehow we ended up with third, gotten second for both of us. And that's just, again, you reblind stuff and you go through and you have to make decisions and pick stuff, and just, it is what it is.
Yeah.
But
human error, human error in this too.
I do want to say, like, obviously King's incredibly hard to find. I get that. Old Fitz 13s, they were really, they were Kentucky only at Heaven Hill. Realistically, the people who got them from out of the state, you either got them from the gift shop or you got them from KBF.
Yeah.
And that was basically the only two ways you got it from it.
And they had a lot of it. And honestly, there was a ton of this.
There were 6,000 bottles.
6,000, is that what it was?
I think it was like just under 6,000 bottles. Yeah. If I feel confident in saying that. I feel like I'm correct on that. Here's the thing I'll say about Russell's 15. And I know this is going to make some people frustrated if I say this. For this being the best whiskey of the year, by a lot of people, okay? I imagine this will win a lot of people's blinds and everything else. This was somewhat, I don't want to say it's somewhat reasonable to get, like as in you can go find it on shelves. A lot of you all were able to get these.
Yes.
This year. And even on the secondary, this is $400. This was, before Fred put it as number one, this was $400. It's $270 something at the gift shop. Mm-hmm. So you're telling me for the best whiskey you've had all year, you're only spending $130 more over retail than what you would have been. That's a little bit easier pill to swallow than saying King or Old Fitz, where you're spending anywhere from $600 on the Old Fitz to $1,000+ more on the King. So again, I'm not saying it's lovely that you're having to do that or it's the greatest thing in the world, but in perspective, that's pretty dang good. So, and I also find it fascinating where this is, I don't want to say it's universally whiskey of the year because not everybody's putting it as whiskey of the year.
But it's universally top 5.
Yeah. Like there's very few people, I think,
who are like, this is terrible.
Yeah. And don't get me wrong, there are people in the comments who are like, I like the single rickhouse more, or I like a Russell's pick more, and that's cool.
Yeah.
That's totally fine. But whenever it comes to a lot of people in WhiskeyTube or on Instagram or Facebook or magazines, whatever, this is going to win a lot of people's whiskey of the year. And that's kind of crazy because I don't think that happens all the time.
It doesn't. So, no, I mean, what was it that we were vastly different on this year that everybody else really liked?
What
was that? I can't even remember what it was, but everybody else was like, this is good. We were like, this is terrible.
Oh, it It was Little Book.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Still think Booker's Reserve is better.
So true.
So
yeah, this is still so good.
I don't know, man. I'm telling you, that Penelope Light whiskey, man, it's the best light whiskey I've had since some of the old Carter stuff.
And that is, and that's a good proof too. That's like 129 proof, isn't it?
I think so.
128.4.
Yeah,
that's good. So good.
So anyways, that's kind of our recap for Whiskey of the Year. You know, it's crazy because I thought kind of going into it, like maybe there wasn't as many bangers as what I thought in years past. And we kind of, once you start doing the blind, you're like, man, these are actually like really
There
good
were
whiskeys.
lots of good bottles this year. And maybe not what we thought, maybe not. We kind of got spoiled with like Heaven Hill having like 5 bangers in like a row. And then obviously the Kings have been really good the last few years.
Yeah.
But Heaven Hill has a way of sneaking itself up into top 3s every single year for whatever reason.
Brown-Forman and Heaven Hill.
Yeah.
They really do. Wild Turkey.
Yeah.
To be fair, Wild Turkey's been putting out some great stuff.
They are a premium whiskey company.
Gosh, with those pricings.
Yeah.
Because Single Rickhouse last year, and then Russell's 13 a couple years ago, that was top 5 for us as well.
It was.
So
yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited.
and Generation. Yeah. Wild Turkey, Heaven Hill, and Brown-Forman.
Yeah. I'm excited for the year. We're going to probably have a video out soon as well, just talking about what 2025 could potentially look like. But as always, like 2024 was a great year, but you can't look backwards too much because there's always new whiskey coming, and really excited for what that is. Tell us what you're looking forward to. Tell us what yours was. All that, what your favorite was this year, last year. Sorry, not this year. And until next time,
we'll see you.
We'll see you.